Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. On the channel we post random tips, unboxings, book hauls, book reviews and the occasional vlog. And today I have a rather special book haul for you. If you guys haven't seen, I'll pop a link above. But at mine and Matt's wedding we did a book swap where everyone brought their favourite books or books that they really would love others to read and would highly recommend. In my last book haul, I showed you the books that myself and Matt were providing for this book haul, which was about 30. And today, I'm going to share with you guys the books that me and Matt left our wedding with. Before I get into those, if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Your continuous support means a lot, so thank you guys so much. Alright, the book haul. Me and Matt left our wedding 9 books, and believe me, I could have left with more, but guests come first. Without further ado, let's go into this book haul. The first book that I chose from the book haul was Skandar and the Unicorn Thief by A.F. Stedman. This was a Waterstones Book of the Year, and it is a middle grade fantasy. This is one that I've been wanting to read, and I do remember seeing a lot of book reviews saying how good it was. And I actually recommended it to Jazz over at Red Panda Reads, so I think she might have put this in this book haul. And I know she and her partner were listening to this via audiobook and absolutely loved it. So when I saw it in the book haul, I nabbed it. I did nab it the next day. As I said at the start of the video, guests took preference, so I didn't actually take any books from the book haul until the very end of the wedding and a few days after the wedding when we brought what was remaining home with us. But this is my first book in this book haul. Let me read you guys the blurb. Heroes and unicorns as you've never seen them before. Skandar Smith has only ever wanted to be a unicorn rider. But just as his dream is about to come true, things take a dangerous turn. A dark and twisted enemy has stolen the world's most powerful unicorn, and as the threat grows ever closer, Skandar discovers a secret that could blow apart this world forever. Get ready for unlikely heroes, elemental magic, sky battles, ancient secrets, and ferocious unicorns in this epic adventure series that will have your heart soaring. And there is a review on the back that says a magnificent book by, and this is from Hannah Gold, author of The Last Bear. And as I said at the start of this is supposed to be one of the Waterstones Book of the Year. It just sounds like a fun read, and it has a map. It has to be good when it has a map. My first book from this book haul, I'm excited to read that. My second book from this book haul, I'm positive that it is from my friend Shauna, and that is XOXO by Axio. This was a TV series called Kitty XO, I believe, on Netflix. And when I was going through a bit of a rough time, I binged this series because it was just so easy to watch. So when I saw this and it was left again until the very end of the night, I thought I should read it in book form because I adored the TV series. It was just so light and fun to watch. Let me read you guys the blurb for this one. Jenny didn't get to be an award-winning, classically trained cellist without choosing practice over fun. That is, until she meets J.R.R., who pulls her into an unforgettable evening wandering Los Angeles with him the night before his flight home to South Korea. With J.R.R. an ocean away, there's no use in dreaming of what could have been. But when Jenny and her mother move to Seoul to take care of her ailing grandmother, who does Jenny meet at her new elite arts academy? J.R.R. Turns out J.R.R. isn't just any student. He's a member of one of the biggest K-pop bands in the world. And like most K-pop idols, J.R.R. is strictly forbidden from dating anyone. When a relationship means not only jeopardizing her place at her dream music school, but also endangering everything J.R.R.'s worked for, Jenny has to decide once and for all just how much she's willing to risk for love. XOXO proves that chasing your dreams doesn't have to mean sacrificing your heart, from acclaimed author Axio. It has a lot of reviews on the back. We have, with fun K-drama vibes, XOXO delivers a lot of heart and warmth in its protagonist who stays true to herself to the very end. And that's from Layla Lee, author of I'll Be the One. We have a feel-good, page-turning, swoony read by Gloria Chow, author of American Panda and Rent a Boyfriend. and an utterly delightful love song dedicated to the intersection between dreams and romance, Julian Winter's award-winning author of Running with Lions. So it's definitely very different from Kitty XO, which is the TV series I believe was based on this book. I could be totally wrong with that. It just sounds like a lovely, easy, fun read. So I'm very much looking forward to that. The next 5 books are books that Matt has actually chosen from the book swap. But if you're not new to this channel, you know we do share our books, so I will highly likely be reading them, and some of them are definitely ones I would have picked up. Let's get started on these 5. The first we have is Use of Weapons by Ian M. Banks. I believe this is a science fiction. Let me read you guys the blurb. The man known as Cherendine Zachary was one of the special circumstances' foremost agents, changing the destiny of planets to suit the culture through intrigue, dirty tricks, or military action. The woman known as J.R.R.Tolkien had plucked him from obscurity and pushed him towards his present eminence, but despite all their dealings, she did not know him as well as she thought. The drone known as Scafin Amitskor knew both of these people. It had once saved the woman's life by massacring her attackers in a particularly bloody manner. It believed the man to be a burnt-out case, but not even its machine intelligence could see the horrors in his past. Ferociously intelligent, both witty and horrific, Use of Weapons is a masterpiece of science fiction. Sounds intense. There are 3 reviews on the back. There is now no British sci-fi writer to whose work I look forward with greater keenness from the Times. Poetic, humorous, baffling, terrifying, sexy. The books of Ian M. Banks are all these things and more. That's by NME. And a sophisticated, intricately structured novel packed with action and moral insights, and so beautifully written I never wanted it to end, and that's a time out. And it's also apparently a culture novel. We'll find out. Next up we have another science fiction. I do believe we're going full sci-fi with these ones, and that is Rendezvous with Rama by Arthur K. Clarke. These are all older, almost literary science fiction at this point. These are the beginnings of sci-fi. Let me read you guys the blurb for this one. The enigmatic object christened Rama was detected while still outside the orbit of Jupiter. A first radar contact at such a distance was unprecedented, indicating that Rama was an exceptional size. As it raced through the solar system, it became apparent that Rama was a cylinder so geometrically perfect that it might have been turned on a gigantic lathe. Mankind was about to receive its first visitor from the stars. It sounds fun. We now have another very famous science fiction. It is Ubik by Philip K. Dick. Let me read you guys the blurb for this one. Glenn Runsiter is dead. Or is he? Someone died in the explosion orchestrated by his business rivals, but even as his funeral is scheduled, his mourning employees are receiving bewildering messages from their boss, and the world around them is warping and regressing in ways which suggest that their own time is running out, if it hasn't already. End of the world. Aliens coming to Earth. Another science fiction masterworks is The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. We do already have Left Hand of Darkness, which was one that we included in our books for the book swap for the wedding. Let me read you guys the blurb for this one. The principle of simultaneity, she always uses words I can't pronounce, will revolutionize interstellar civilization by making possible instantaneous communication. It's the life work of Shevek, a brilliant physicist from the arid anarchist world of Anaris. Shevek's work is being stifled by jealous colleagues, so he travels to Anara's sister planet Uras, hoping to find more tolerance there, but he soon finds himself being used as a pawn in a deadly political game. And the final science fiction from the book swap at our wedding is Cage of Souls by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Can I just say, look how gorgeous that cover is. It's so green. My favourite colour is green. I love this. Let me read you guys the blurb for this one. The sun is bloated, diseased, dying perhaps. Beneath its baneful light, Shadropa, last of all cities, harbours fewer than 100,000 human souls. It is a museum, a midden, an asylum, a prison on a world that is ever more alien to humanity. Bearing witness to the desperate struggle for existence between life old and new is Stefan Advani, rebel, outlaw, prisoner, survivor. This is his testament, an account of the journey that took him far beyond the city's reaches to the blazing desolation of the western deserts, down the river to the verdant hell of the jungle's darkest heart, and deep into the labyrinths and caverns of the underworld. He will meet with monsters, madmen, mutants. The question is, which one of them will inherit the earth? We have 2 reviews on the back. Tchaikovsky's world building here is breathtaking. Cage of Souls is a fascinating read and strong ecological tale as from Starburst. Set in a dying world where death hovers impatiently over everyone's shoulder, Cage of Souls is a frequently grim read, but it's a compelling journey. And it is also an Arthur C. Clarke Award winner. The next 2 books from the wedding aren't actually from our book swap. At our wedding, as well as for exchanging rings, which actually me and Pat forgot to do twice. We actually ended up exchanging our rings at the dinner. Whoopsie! But what we did exchange at the altar were 2 books that we bought for one another. We did actually know which books they were. We were initially planning to have them as a surprise for one another, but to relieve the pressure of choosing a book like that, we thought we'll choose them together. And they're both books that we want to keep in our collection. So they couldn't just be books that we wanted to read. They are books that we knew we would keep forever for various reasons. The first of those books is The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. This was edited by Christopher Tolkien, who is Tolkien's son. The reason this was one of the books that we swapped at the altar is because Matt actually inherited his grandma's Lord of the Rings Tolkien collection, and that includes the Lord of the Rings series and The Hobbit. But what isn't included in that is the Silmarillion, and those books are the old style. So when you remove the sleeve, and 3 don't actually have a sleeve, it is the red binded version. So when I saw this blue bound version in Waterstones, I thought this would fit that collection perfectly, and it is a book myself and Matt do really want to read, and one that should just really be on every fantasy book lover's shelf. It just is. Let me read you guys the blurb for this one. J.R.R. Tolkien's epic legendary precursor to The Lord of the Rings. The Silmarillion were 3 perfect jewels created by Fëanor, most gifted of the High Elves. When the first Dark Lord, Morgoth, stole the jewels and set them within his iron crown in the impenetrable fortress of Angband, Fëanor and his kindred rebelled against the gods and took up arms to wage a long and terrible war to recover them. This is the story of the heroism of the elves and the men in the first age of Middle-earth, the foundations of the world and its peoples before the great events recorded in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So that was one of the books we exchanged at the altar. And the final book from the wedding, and again, another that we exchanged at the altar, was Terry Pratchett's Witches Abroad. I do actually have a review of this book, that link is above me now. But what is special about this copy, again, this involves Matt's grandma. Matt inherited his grandma's first edition collection of Terry Pratchett, and it is a collection that we are continuing to grow throughout our lives. So we thought, as we are continuing that collection, we found this book on eBay. It is a first edition. It is joining our Terry Pratchett first edition collection, and it will be with us forever. Let me read you guys a blurb of this one. It seemed an easy job. After all, how difficult could it be to make sure that a servant girl doesn't marry a prince? But for the witches Granny Weatherwax, Nanny Ogg, and Magrat Garlic travelling to the distant city of Genua, things are never that simple. For one thing, all they've got is Mrs. Goggles' voodoo, a one-eyed cat, and a second-hand magic wand that can only do pumpkins. And they're up against the malignant power of the godmother herself, who's made destiny an offer it can't refuse. And finally, there's the sheer power of the story. Servant girls have to marry a prince. That's what life's all about. You can't fight a happy ending. At least, up until now. There are 3 reviews in here. I'm beginning to think that Terry Pratchett is the best humorist this country has seen since P.G. Wodehouse. less coarse than Tom Sharp, less cynical than Douglas Adams, simply a pure joy. That's from David Pringle, White Dwarf. A sequence of unalloyed delight, Guardian. And it's hard to think of any humorist writing in Britain today who can match him, Dominic Wells, Time Out. I mean, we all know Pratchett became one of the best British comedy fantasy writers in the UK. We know this now, but when this first edition came out, that was not known, which makes the reviews a little bit more magical. And that's it for this book haul. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed what you see. These were the books that me and Matt got from our book swap and also exchanged at the altar at our wedding. I'm so happy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed what you see. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you like to see as soon as I upload, click that little bell down below. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Tumblr. I post your bookish pictures on there, as well as writing tips and unboxings. And thank you guys for watching. Bye!